When I was little, my father was famous. He was the greatest samurai in the empire. He cut off the heads of 131.
Hey everybody, Jerry Williams, aka Greater Sapien here. Thanks for stopping by. Today we're going to look at numbers 192, 193, and 194 of Eric Dubay's 200 Proofs the Earth is Not a Spinning Ball. Get close. Quoting Terra Firma by David Wardlaw Scott. The system of the universe, as taught by modern astronomers, being founded entirely on theory, for the truth of which they are unable to advance one single real proof, they have entrenched themselves in a conspiracy of silence, and decline to answer any objections which may be made to their hypothesis. Copernicus himself, who revived the theory of the heathen philosopher Pythagoras, and his great exponent Sir Isaac Newton, confessed that their system of a revolving Earth was only a possibility and could not be proved by facts. It is only their followers who have decorated it with the name of an exact science, yea, according to them, the most exact of all sciences. Yet one astronomer royal for England once said, speaking of the motion of the whole solar system, "The matter is left in a most delightful state of uncertainty, and I shall be very glad if anyone can help me out of it." What a very sad position for an exact science to be in is this. So, let me translate this into the language of someone who was born in the last 200 years. In his book, which is claiming to use scripture, a non-scientific, subjectively interpreted source, to prove the flat Earth, this guy wrote that the accepted model of the universe is entirely theory, with not a single proof of anything, and no one will answer when questioned about it. Copernicus didn't have any proof, nor Newton, and this one unnamed astronomer said it sucks they have no proof. That's it. This guy in a book over a century ago wrote that people centuries before him had no proof. Well, it was a lie at the time, and even if you think it wasn't a lie at the time, there is plenty of proof now. But more importantly, let's remember that this series of claims by Dubay is called Proofs the Earth is Not a Spinning Ball. Someone saying, these people centuries ago had no proof, is not proof against a globe. 193. No child or unindoctrinated man in their right mind would ever conclude or even conceive, given to their own devices, based on their own personal observations, that the Earth was a spinning ball revolving around the sun. Such imaginative theories, nowhere present in anyone's daily experience, require and have required massive amounts of constant propaganda to uphold the illusion. So let's break this down. No child or unindoctrinated man in their right mind. Now, I don't know if this counts as an appeal to intuition, an appeal to common sense, an appeal to ignorance, or a genetic fallacy, but what I do know is it's not proof. If I were to say, you have to be crazy to believe the Earth is flat, would you consider that proof? Of course not. People say that to you all the time, and you don't consider it proof. This claim seems to be taking the concept of observational science to mean obvious appearances. This ignores the fact that many scientific truths are not immediately apparent to the unaided human senses. We don't feel the Earth moving because it rotates and orbits smoothly at a consistent speed, and its curvature is vast relative to our usual point of view. It also ignores the fact of history. It was people in their right minds, observing the world around them, keeping track, discussing it with others, and noting what they observed that got us here today. The notion that education on these topics is propaganda and indoctrination just shows the disdain folks like Dubé hold for education. Education builds on centuries of accumulated knowledge, allowing us to understand phenomena beyond our everyday experiences. Teaching scientific facts supported by evidence is fundamentally different from spreading propaganda. Number 194. Oh, so long. Can someone help me out on this one? Here, I'll start off. From David Wardlaw Scott.
I remember being taught when a boy that the earth was a great ball, revolving at a very rapid rate around the sun. And when I expressed to my teacher my fears that the waters of the oceans would tumble off, I was told that they were prevented from doing so by Newton's great law of gravitation, which kept everything in its proper place. I presume that my countenance must have shown some signs of incredulity, for my teacher immediately added, "I can show you a direct proof of this. A man can whirl around his head a pail filled with water without its being spilt, and so in like manner can the oceans be carried round the sun without losing a drop." As this illustration was evidently intended to settle the matter, I then said no more upon the subject. Had such been proposed to me afterwards as a man, I would have answered somewhat as follows: "Sir, I beg to say that the illustration you have given of a man whirling a pail of water round his head, and the oceans revolving round the sun, does not in any degree confirm your argument, because the water in the two cases is placed under entirely different circumstances, but to be of any value, the conditions in each case must be the same, which here they are not. The pail is a hollow vessel which holds the water inside it, whereas, according to your teaching, the earth is a ball with a continuous curvature outside, which, in agreement with the laws of nature, could not retain any water."
David Wardlaw Scott was born 201 years ago. The fact that his teacher, some 190 years ago, used a bad example in an attempt to explain a scientific concept to him is not proof the Earth is not a globe. I'm sure you've all noticed this tendency amongst the globe deniers. Things they began to learn and understand as adults don't jibe with the things they were taught or believe they were taught as young children. Scott's childhood memory of his teacher is a great example to undermine the claims of propaganda and indoctrination that Dumais mentioned in 193. In his story, Scott questioned the lesson his teacher was giving, and when challenged, the teacher presented an example to clarify the lesson. We can say that the example was ill-informed, but what we can't say is this is an example of indoctrination. Indoctrination does not invite the asking of questions and the requesting of more detail. No, indoctrination tells you not to look any deeper. This is what your eyes see. This is what we told you. It's done. Changing one's view as new information is attained is a weakness. Information contrary to the model we tell you should be disregarded as lies. That's precisely what science deniers like Dubé wish upon the world. The indoctrination of their narrow-minded, bigoted worldview. Lucky for us, they're really too stupid to get it done.
That's my job! That's what I do! I don't lose! I win! Is there no one on this planet to even challenge me?
Maybe you came by to congratulate me on last night's victory.